Hi guys, it's Mrs. Hibbinger. I hope you guys are enjoying this snowy Sunday. Stay safe out there. I'm getting ready to start chapter 10 of Monster Street, The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. And the chapter says, Old Enough to Know. Morning, boy. Time for work, Grandpa said, shaking Max's shoulder. Max slowly stirred in his bed. Work? Gramps tossed a pair of overalls to him, and the straps slapped his face. Meet me at the well in 5 minutes, the old man said, then disappeared out the door before Max could say a word. Max sat up in bed, stretched his arms, and yawned. He looked around his room and noticed that the mud on the floor was gone. Who cleaned it up, he thought. When he peered out the window to the forest, it seemed to be smiling to him. He couldn't help but wonder if his adventure with Jade the night before had all been a dream. Reluctantly, he put on his clothes and went to meet Gramps outside. The sky was tinged with pink and gold, and the pine needles and grass glistened with the morning dew. Over here, Gramps called out. Max saw Gramps beside the well and slowly approached him. The old man handed a tin pail to Max. You sleep all right? Gramps asked, gripping a rusted lever and showing Max how to put water into the pail. Not really, Max admitted, attempting the task. Well, I hope you're hungry. Grammy's cooking up a warm breakfast as we speak, Gramps said. Max suddenly realized that he wasn't hungry at all. In fact, he hadn't been hungry since dinner the night before. He figured that the sight of the slaughtered hog, as well as the rabbit's carcass, had made him lose his appetite. Max looked out to the forest, recalling the horrors of the nightmare. It had all seemed so real. Gramps, he began, does anyone live in those woods? Gramps glared down at Max curiously, as if he was suspicious that the boy knew something he wasn't supposed to know. Well, why do you ask? Max shifted his weight on his feet and tried to keep a straight face. I mean, why did you and Grammy tell me not to go in there? It ain't our property, that's all, Gramps said. I always told your father the same thing, but he never listened. Something about the old man's words seemed hollow, like an eggshell with no yolk inside. My father went in there, didn't he? And that's why he died, Max asked, determined to get a straight answer. Gramps accidentally dropped the pail of water, and he glanced down at Max with startled eyes. After a brief moment, he took a deep breath and sighed. I suppose you're old enough to know now, Gramps said, but fair warning, there are going to be some things that are difficult for you to learn while you're here. Like what? Max asked. Gramps knelt beside Max and lowered his voice. All right, then. You said that the girl next door told you about what was happening around here 12 years ago? He asked. Max nodded. The old man continued. When the disappearances began, your father was more bothered by them than just about anyone, mainly because he was worried about you and your mom. Did he join the hunting party? The one that killed the beast? Max asked. Gramps looked at him, surprised that he knew about such a thing. The so-called beast wouldn't have been killed without your father, that's for sure. Not many people know this, but he saved quite a few lives by what he did. My father was a hero? Gramps nodded, then added, but not worth the cost. Well, what cost? Max asked. His life, Gramps whispered. Max felt his throat close up. His mind raced with questions. Finally, learning the truth of his father's death made his absence seem larger and more painful. But still, he wanted to know more. A thought soon crossed Max's mind that he had never considered before. Where is he buried? He asked. Gramps looked away. Max could see that there was pain in his eyes, but there was something else there too, something Max couldn't decipher. He wasn't buried, Gramps said. Max squinted questioningly. Gramps continued, what I mean was, we never found his body.